Yeah, I'm like, why would somebody pay my wages? I have to just do a bit more work.
That's the missing part. You need to bring that absolutely in. You need to believe it as if you've already got it. You need to live and feel and breathe and, absolutely be with it. And that's how essentially you will recognize the opportunities, because all it takes is, because that's like a different level of thinking on the intuition side, when you talk about the law of vibration. And all it does is, because it's so engrossed in your mind and you can see it and believe it, when you're moving around and you're speaking to people and things are happening, you will be in tune to pick up even the slightest or smallest or messages or words that someone mentions that immediately clicks with your dream and your idea. But so maybe let's say you're just walking around, whether it's in the supermarket or someone is talking about a piece of land or something that they are struggling with or they want to develop. Because you're so in tune with what you need, you'll pick up those messages and opportunities will come up, and that's all it takes. And you don't even have to know how and when and how. That's the magic of it. You just let your mind just go with it, and you'll find that it will get delivered. And that's the absolute awesome nature of how these things work. But it's a different level of mindset and thinking to understand that those kind of things happen. When they say thoughts are actually things, they're just things like any physical object that you can hold and think. But for us to grasp those kind of things, it's very difficult. But for people, it can be tricky unless you train yourself to understand that. But it's almost that faith and fear, that belief on something which you have no scientific proof. But why do we fear things more than we believe in things that can actually happen? We need to treat them equally, because they start from the same point of if you're fearing that you're not going to achieve it because you're thinking that you've got limiting beliefs, but there's actually no scientific proof that you can't achieve it. It's the same way that if you believe that you can actually achieve it, there's no scientific proof, but both are based on that belief of something that you can't tangibly feel. So you need to treat them equally and not
that. Even the fear of achieving it is also a huge fear as well. Like if somebody tomorrow, say somebody listens to this, right? And then they get in touch with me and they're like, Shona, I'm going to pay you to do your dream. All I want you to do is put my logo on the side of your building, because that's good marketing for them. Yeah, that's all I'd have to do. Would I believe it? Would I think, oh, they're trying to scam me? What?
You see?
Could I actually give in my notice at work and say, I'm leaving because this person has contacted me. They're going to put my wages into my bank account without me having to come to work every day because I'm going to go do action. I don't know if I will even be able to accept that happening.
But I guess if you roll it back, you think, why would you not accept it? Because now you're starting to think, what are the things that are important to you? This is where we go back to our mind. How we have the entrepreneurial mind, we've got the caveman mind, and also the emotional mind, which is like our subconscious. The caveman mind is always it's that flight and fright thing, isn't it? To always get us back to our comfort zone, because anything that is unfamiliar, it's so scary. At the moment you've got your job, you've got the kids and everything is familiar. Maybe you have a stable income and you pay your bills and all that. If you uproot that, all of a sudden that certainty is gone. And the caveman mind doesn't like that. So it's always bringing in the limiting beliefs. Shona, don't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. But by you coming back to your comfort zone, you're missing out on the wonderful world of opportunities that are out there that can actually take you to wherever you need to be, because you've actually taken that. It is scary, but it's absolutely worth going in. But it's always like we always want to have like a plan that, okay, if I leave this, at least maybe as a safety net, I'm gonna have A, B, C, D. Maybe you need a little bit of something to just get you ticking over. But if you surround yourself with the right network and the belief and the tribe and the mastermind and the support and the accountability, you're always gonna get there. You know, because if you only look at the stories of the most successful people there, those people who live on the edge of the normal distribution, on the edges, if you look at their stories, they are not normal stories of someone who went to school, got an education, and then they started working in a job and they made good money. Because not everyone is gonna make CEO or some rich banker and make lots of money. But people with extraordinary stories, it's just a challenge that for most people, if you look at the percentage of the people who have broken through into massive success, it's happened because some sort of crisis has happened at some point in their life. So either they got made redundant at a job, and then all of a sudden, wow, that thing is taken away. So it's no longer an option. So they have to look and do something else, and then they get to achieve something. Or else maybe, the death of a loved one, and all of a sudden, life is different, or some other big life-changing event like a divorce or something, and all of a sudden, oh wow, I have to do something else. But in the normal course of people just staying in their zone, like they've got a good job, they've got a mortgage, and they're paying their house, most people would not jump and do anything else because they are stable, they are comfortable, and that's where the cave my mind wants to keep you. And it's difficult for people to recreate a challenge or a crisis in their mind artificially because it doesn't exist. So that's one of the mindset challenges that you would face.
So I did have a bit of I was already on this journey, and that's why I booked my assessment for my head teacher qualification in September. So by the end of this year, I should be qualified. But a few months ago, I did have something happen in my family, which might have meant that me or my partner had to give up their job. And that was scary. And also I was like, if only I'd started this journey a bit earlier, maybe I would already be in that place now. That I would be self-employed and things would be different. But there's no point thinking, oh, I should have done this or I could have done it earlier, because I haven't. This is where I am now. And I'm trying, like I said, I started the deal sourcing thinking, oh, I can make money like that. But I was speaking to somebody last week, and they said to me, Shona, what you want to do is amazing. And like I said, I could work with other people to do the property stuff that all know. But they were like, if you need to make money now, then use the assets you already have. And I was like, what do you mean? And it was like, well, you're trying to be a deal sourcer, but you don't have really the experience in that. He's like, you do have experience of being an artist and having like special needs and understanding young people with special needs. And I also have experience of being a parent with a child that has some difficulties. He's like, use that. So I'm currently creating a art course, which is specifically for parents who need a way of getting out of their everyday life through creativity. And it's me explaining how I use art as an outlet. And I didn't really think about how that might resonate with other people before, but he's been helping me see, like, that's my truth. Like, there's no lie in it. That's when I talk about that, I know it inside out because it's my life. Whereas deal sourcing is something I'm still learning. And if I could make that work, if I could sell these courses, then I could replace my income, and then I could use that money to live out the dream. So that may or may not, no, let's be positive. That is what I'm going to do. And that should mean, like I said, in the next year, I should be in a very different place to where I am now.
Wow, then that's an absolute golden nugget there. And it's just amazing, that piece of advice, because in a situation when a lot of people are in overwhelmed, or they lack clarity of what the next stage is or what to do next, that is the great piece of advice. Whilst you're in the zone of what can I do, or how can I get ABCD, just look at what you have now and what you can do. And that will actually immediately start getting you something, and that's absolutely makes sense, aside to like the fact that, you can work with other people with specialist knowledge later on to actually build the property side or whatever. But you have already the experience and the networking power and how people are drawn to you because of your personality and, working with people. Use that, and you're absolutely following great advice there, creating that course, and it's something that you're already good at, and you're passionate about, and you're just gonna do well. And there's actually a demand for that. There's a lot of people looking for help in that particular field. So that's an absolute great example of, in the midst of any overwhelm, that is what you should do. Just do immediately with the things that you already know and are good at, and follow that. And on the property side, like we said, because essentially, in property, in most cases, you need three things: your time, the money, and also the experience or knowledge. But all these three things they don't actually necessarily have to be yours. Like, you use other people's money, you leverage other people's knowledge and experience and their time as well. Like they were telling you, you can use other sources who have spent the time to look and analyze the deals, and they just bring them to you. And then you can find the investors who buy into your dream, they bring the money in. And then, the experienced people who know about, the planning and the laws, and they can build it as well. Yeah. And all those, and you sit in the middle and bring everything together. So, and, they can get on to do and bring that to reality while you pursue the things that are passionate to you about bringing the kids and teaching them and all that. So those things can exist and come together. It doesn't have to be one at the expense of the other, but it's just absolutely touched upon an important point there about, if you want something of the now, look into what you're good at and what you can do, and you can absolutely excel in that as well. So it's absolutely amazing hearing you do that. So we get to understand your dream and what you want to do, build the school and teach the kids. So beyond that, like if you look at like a 5 or 10 year time frame, what does that whole dream look like then?
That's a good question, because sometimes I just see the property school is the end, but it's not. Hopefully that's very near in the future. So in 3 years time, within the next 2 to 3 years, I want to have the first property school up and running and get to a place where I'm confident that it's working, it's successful. I want to move to Colchester, is probably where I'm going to move. Further away from London. I don't want to be in London. I think it's quite detrimental sometimes to people's well-being. I like to be out in the country. I like to be in the fresh air. So I'm going to move further away, and I would like to then, the property school doesn't need to be a set location. It could be in refurb projects. So I'm bringing in investment money and I'm buying a new bit of land or a new house, and then I get young people from schools. Maybe I don't have a whole school. Maybe I just take kids for a month so that they can take part. Like, my school can be anywhere. And if I can make it work once, twice, then I could actually help other people around the country make it work, because the type of young people that I work with exist all over the country.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just these are the ones I work with right now. And I have lots of people that understand what I'm talking about. Lots of people that work with kids that don't fit mainstream education.
Yeah.
And they talk to me about how they believe in what I'm doing. And if I could then use my knowledge to help them do the same thing, I could be helping people get out of their job to do their passion and just help more kids. And that would be amazing. I do, like I said, I do also want to build some physical assets. So I want to build a portfolio of my own alongside it.
Yeah.
So that eventually I'll get to a point where I'm not in the business as much, right? I might just be making sure it happens.
It's happening, yeah.
Yeah. And if I'm the one with the vision and I can bring those bits together, then this is a mindset thing I've only got recently as well. Like, it's okay to not be in it all the time, to be the person that brings it together, because if you don't have that person that's going to bring it together, then it's never going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's where I'd like to be.
No, I mean that's absolutely. I mean, you know, when you study success principles, it's all about that. I mean, I remember one of my mentors, it mentioned to me that if you can't take yourself out of your business for anything, minimum of 6 weeks or so, and go away somewhere and come back and your operation or business is still running, then you almost have another job. So bringing in systems and making sure things are running properly while you're still in there, bringing the business development side and the vision, and you do the key result areas, is absolutely key as well to make sure that everything is running properly. So all that feeds into like the vision, like you're saying. So making it all happen, but also making sure you can live the life of your dreams as well, making difference to people, having the financial and the time freedom to do also the things that other things that you like to do, like, you know, travel, or even take this global to other countries that you can make the same impact as well. You know, that can become your challenge, and your ambitions can keep growing. Say, okay, I've achieved this. Maybe you take even these kids and get them to teach other people, show the other kids, even outside this country, maybe in Africa or in Asia. Say, look, you know, you can also impact the world at a global scale, and show them that as well. So, but as you grow, both in your knowledge and mindset and wisdom, as well as the assets and the wealth and the money to help you achieve that, because it gives you all sorts of options, then your ambitions become bigger as well. You want to impact more people. You want to impact the world and global. And that's just a natural progression. So that's absolutely amazing. And sometimes, like for me, I can see and tell, because I don't know whether you remember, but all those was it last year or before, you would put up like a Facebook Live or whatever, and I would, you know, join in and just listen to you, and intuitively I could see there's something special and different about you know. And then I follow you, and I can see you're absolutely going places, because you demonstrate all the success principles of successful people, in the sense that you embark on a journey. You don't necessarily have to know all the pieces of how you will get there. You just need that belief and the small steps, because a journey of 1,000,000 or 1,000 steps starts with the first one. And when you're building a brand, a brand is not a quick thing, like you're gonna become a household name in a month or a week or a year or something. It's something that you build up over time. And you look at the likes of Napoleon Hill, it took him, was it about 20 years or so to build up his book? But then when eventually it was finished, it made him millions, but after spending so much time to get there. It's the same, like, you know, people perfect their craft in whether speaking or something, and it takes them a long time. But then in one speech. Like had a mastermind with Rob Moore. You probably Rob Moore from Progressive.
Yeah.
Was telling how recently he got his biggest paycheck on one speech of £125,000, from one speech. Imagine that has happened by him building a brand which has taken time, but the payoff is now massive just by speaking for an hour. Or by the time you build up a bigger portfolio, you can probably speak for £1 million just for an hour. Imagine, So,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It was actually his. When I started my Facebook group, it was because last August he ran in his. He has another group that you pay like £3 to be like a month to be part of the supporters program.
Yeah, the supporters. Yeah.
Yeah, and they ran an event for a week, which was about social media, and there were like 3 lives a day. I remember I was on holiday with my family, and they were annoyed because every 4 hours I had to go on and listen. And that was actually what kickstarted me into start my Facebook group. So yeah, I think that's what that was.
Yeah, so you see.
Until now.
But you see, even when you look back in your group, because obviously some of the people who have come in the group are people who have probably made an impact with you, some you're probably going to work with and all sorts.
Yeah.
But when you started the group, you didn't know that. Yeah. You didn't know who was going to come in your group and what impact they're going to make. And that's the same now going forward. Again, in a year's time, how big is your group going to be and who is going to come in there to actually make that impact? And that in itself, just knowing that in itself is so exciting to say the possibilities are endless. When I started my podcast, about a year or so ago, I didn't know who I was going to interview there, but there have been some amazing people, the likes of Dr. John DeMartini, Gerard Ratner. I've had the privilege of speaking to these people on my podcast, the likes of Rob Moore. Amazing brains. And now, when I look forward, who is it that I'm going to speak to?